gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's November the 30th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the big news of the day, presented this morning by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health, and by Caneswear, your shop for all your holiday shopping needs. If you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, visit Caneswear in person in Davie or at Caneswear.com. All right, Matt Shodell, big news, man. Big news day, big news night last night. And I mean big because we're talking 6'7", 250-pound big Collins Achimapong changes his commitment from Michigan to Miami. And it's been a minute since we've talked about Collins, so Miami fans might not even remember him. But this is a guy that looks like a cross between Calais Campbell and Jason Taylor. Okay, he's tall, he's lean, he's explosive. He's also very raw. Okay, he has not played a whole lot of football. This is a basketball star who has decided that his future is best carved on the football field, probably astutely based on the videotape that I've seen, Matt Shodell, and has now decided to take his talents to South Beach. Your thoughts on the events of last evening?
Yeah, look, I don't really. The offers that he got were purely off his athleticism. He has very, very little actual football experience. Moved from Africa as a freshman to pursue athletics. Played basketball and football. His only football season was 2019 as a freshman. His school did not play when he was a sophomore or junior. He transferred over the summer. By the time he transferred to his current school, he already had 40 offers, including Miami. People were just, this is one of those deals where he's a diamond in the rough, one of these, you can call him a project if you want, but he's a 4-star project, for a reason. And it's because you just don't see guys like this every day with this size, range, athleticism, bend, all the intangibles that you have with him. But again, this is not a guy who's going to come in his first year at Miami and really have an impact because he knows nothing about football. But because this season, he only played the first, I think, 3 games. The first, I have to check what, I did talk to his coach. He played the first, 3 games. In those 3 games, he had 4 sacks, 4 pass deflections, and 6 tackles for losses. Okay, so that shows you what he can do, obviously. But at the same time, basically what the coaches were telling him is just, run that way. If that's the guy with the ball, run towards him. And he's just bigger, faster, and more athletic than everybody else. So he can certainly do that at the high school level. And the college level, he's got to learn everything. He's got to learn all the techniques. He literally has no bad habits because he's played all of, a freshman year and then 3 games this year. And that's it. And he went to some camps, got some offers, based on the camp performances, and that was it. So he's as big a diamond in the rough prospect as you'll find in terms of game experience, but he's compared to Jason Pierre-Paul by his coach for good reason. That you just don't see guys like this. So anyway, I think it's obviously a great addition for Miami, and it really goes to show you that this perseverance from Mario Cristobal pays off. He just never gives up on guys. He really doesn't, and he takes a personal hand in all these recruits, all these recruitments.
And, I mentioned Calais Campbell, and in watching this tape, which is up on the screen right now, it really reminds me of a young Calais Campbell when he came from Colorado to Miami. He was very raw. He really didn't blossom, honestly, until after his college career was over. I mean, he had a good career at Miami, don't get me wrong, but he became a superstar in the National Football League. And when he was able to take it to an even greater level. And, you watch, I don't know what happened there, but you watch, you watch him and you really do get the feel for what he can become, Matt, and where this can go. And no, it might not be just next year, but you could project this a couple years down the road and see him as a tandem with, say, like a Cyrus Moss, for example, and a Nigel E. Kelly as pass rushers. And it's a glimpse of where this Miami Hurricanes program is going, the way this staff is recruiting, and the mindset that they are going to be attacking these final 3 weeks before signing day, in terms of not being shy about getting after it and staying on it with kids that are committed to other schools.
I think that's what I just said. What do you want me to add? What are you asking me?
Just I'm asking you, what were you doing? Texting your mom good morning or something? I was asking you your opinion on how Miami is going to approach these next 3 weeks in terms of not just focusing on the kids they've been recruiting in the last month or two and who have visited games and things like that, but there is nobody, including guys committed to other schools right now, that is off limits for the efforts of Cristobal and the staff.
Asked and answered.
Oh my God!
I literally said they don't give up. I said the whole point is they never give up. Like, what do you want me to tell you? They're going to get everybody? No,
they're not going to get everybody.
They don't give up. They constantly are recruiting. Doesn't matter if you're committed somewhere else. Like, I don't really know what you want me to. I'm not sure I understand your question.
This is a huge flip. I want you to get excited. I want you to overdose on your ginger juice. I want you to show some emotion. I want you to show some passion. I want you to tell everybody that they should be excited about this flip, which you should be. Let me do this. Let me pop up a few minutes of footage here of him as a basketball player, and you guys are going to see, like, it's an absolute dunk fest. Like, I watched a lot of tape on Collins, and I didn't see anything but dunks. I mean, every single shot that this kid took on the basketball court was a dunk. I mean, you're seeing dunk after dunk after dunk. They're not on a loop. These are all individual plays. I mean, he just hung out around the basket and he dunked the ball. But you could see the athleticism. You could see the raw ability of Collins, and kind of get an idea of how this will translate to the football field. And it's funny, Matt, we've seen this before with guys like Jimmy Graham that became tight ends, and Collins probably could become a tight end if he really wanted to, but I think he's smart in the sense that he sees his future as an edge rusher, because that's a position that if he can excel he's going to make a heck of a lot more money than tight ends make.
Yeah, I know you get very excited moving people's positions. And the reason I don't get excited about anything, the only thing I'll get excited about
is when negative Nancy. You're a curmudgeon. That's why.
The only thing I'll get excited about is when the Miami Hurricanes win the ACC. And that's what it's all about to me. Will Collins make that more likely to happen? Yes. But again, this all has to come together. It's great to get commitments. It's great to get commitments, especially when you're beating out other programs like Michigan for them. But I view everything very analytically, okay? I've seen Miami land top 10 recruiting classes, which they have in the past. I've seen them land 5-star recruits in the past, which they have. And I've seen those guys not pan out. So when you see me not excited, it's because I'm one of those people where I've got to see it to believe it. Again, this is a student athlete with tremendous, as good as you'll find upside physically as a defensive end. You will not find anybody with a better body type as a defensive end to be disruptive. I don't know if that's exciting. That's just what I'm telling you. But the caveat here is he knows nothing about football. And he has to learn the sport. He has to learn everything. Now, again, the good thing is no bad habits, because he hasn't had time to learn bad habits. They can basically teach him from square zero. But my guess is he will not play at all as a true freshman. My guess is he will be dominant by his redshirt sophomore year. So get excited about that. Get excited about his redshirt sophomore year, because that's what I believe, just looking from the outside, in my own personal opinion. I don't get excited about redshirt sophomores, okay? Not yet, because I've seen it happen. I've gotten excited about Mark Pope. I've gotten excited about Lorenzo Lingard. I've gotten excited about Willie Williams. I've done this too many times to get excited about one recruit. I know you want me to jump up and down and make fans all go crazy. Like, that's not me, bro. I just keep it real. the reality is this is not someone who's going to help Miami next year, but he will be amazing in the future if he follows the correct path, works really hard, and listens to what coaches tell him. That's something to celebrate for sure. For sure.
I'm going to be the anti-Matt Shodell. And I'm putting the Cane shades on, baby, because I think this will give them additional momentum here in recruiting as they move forward. And other kids are going to take notice of this in addition to what they've already got locked in. I think the kids in the recruiting class, it's going to make them feel even better about the commitments that they've been sticking by under enormous adverse environment. I mean, if you look at the way that this season went, and I think that the dividends of getting this flip and this commitment are going to pay off in many, many ways. But that is not the only thing we have on the website today. So I will move on from Collins. So you guys can enjoy all of our coverage on that. We've got stories on the commitment. We've got the inside story on how it happened in his own words. We've got analysis of Collins, the two-sport athlete. So a lot of ways for you guys to sink your teeth into this Collins Atropong flip from Michigan to Miami. But any way you slice and dice it, it is a very big deal. All right. Other things on the website today. We've got a blog with Tyrique Stevenson once again, as we've had all season. And this one is particularly interesting because we get to talk to Tyrique a little bit about his future. And it's a complicated decision for him. You know, a lot of people want to earmark him to the NFL draft. I think if Tyrique had his druthers, he would definitely be headed to the NFL draft. But when you read the blog and you watch the videos that accompany the blog, you're going to walk away with the sense that this is a kid that's got his head on his shoulders and he's doing his homework. And, you know, he told us that he wants to know he's going to go in the first 3 rounds of the draft. Okay. I've done some homework on it, and I would love to see Tyrique go in the first 3 rounds of the draft. I think he's more likely to go somewhere in round 4, 5, or 6. Okay. And I think that that's what he's going to find out when he does his homework. And the question, Matt, is going to be, is that going to be good enough to push him over the edge and get him to go into the draft? Or he says it's 50-50. Does he pursue an NIL deal or deals at Miami that might be equally or more lucrative for him than going in the later rounds of the draft? And does he then come back for another year at Miami?
I mean, I think, you know, I'm the one who talked to him. I think that he does want to go pro. I think he wants to decide in the next week. One of his concerns was that, this is just talking to him as an aside, but one of his concerns is that I guess these spaces fill up for these NFL combine factory type places where you have to reserve a spot basically to get trained for the NFL combine and all this other stuff. And they get filled up. They don't have enough spots for everybody. So he wants to really know in the next week. Reading between the lines, sounds like his people are pushing him to go pro. And that he wants to get a final say from Miami coaches to see if they disagree and on what basis. And it's going to be up to the Miami coaches to basically tell him why he shouldn't go. Because at this point, if he was not going to talk to Miami coaches again, he would be going pro based on just what I've heard from him. But he is going to have a final meeting with them. He's going to present them with what his people, meaning, you know, his agent, which is legal nowadays, his lawyer, whatever you want to call it, and his family members and other people around them are telling him. And he quite honestly, he said, you know, I know these people want to make money off of me, but I have to make sure it's the right decision. So what he's hearing from them is go pro, go pro, go pro, because once you start your NFL contract, the time's ticking after your first contract when you make the big money anyway. Whether you're 3rd round, 4th round, or 5th round, it doesn't matter. You're not going to make that much money at first anyway, but after you prove yourself, you know, then your second contract's where you make the big money. That's always the argument. So he's going to walk into that Miami office and say to Mario Cristobal, why should I not start my NFL clock now? And yeah, a huge NIL deal could certainly have him stop the clock to start his NFL career. But at the same time, the issue is going to be, what else can he show next year that he hasn't already shown? That's a big question mark, because he doesn't have top end speed. He's not going to have top end speed. In the NFL, he has safety speed, but he's a cornerback. It's a problem. It's why he's not a first rounder. if he had the speed to go with his physicality and body size, and he claims he runs a 4.3, he does not. But if he had the speed to do that and the hips to do that, he would be a first-round cornerback. But he doesn't. And if he's convinced himself that he can run a 4.4 or something at the combine, then maybe he can move up the draft and sneak into the 3rd round. I think that's what his hope is that these people might say 4th, 5th round, but he believes in himself and he thinks he could do better. So my guess is he leaves. I'd be surprised if he stays, but he says 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough decision for him. He's going to have to get out the calculator and figure it out. I just hope he gets good advice. Tyrique's a great kid. We've loved every minute the last 2 years of having him on our team on an NIL deal and doing that blog. And, you get to know Tyrique and you can't do anything. And we've known him since high school. You can't help but just wish the total best for him and that he gets good advice and that somebody has all the calculations correct and helps him make the best decision for him. And no predictions here on which way it's going to go. It honestly could go in either direction. All right, we got a few more stories to talk about today, but first, let's hear from our sponsors, CaneSport and LifeWallet.
Welcome to CaneSport. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot Miami fans shop.
I know what you're thinking. Why do I get to star in my own commercial? Well, I was LifeWallet's first female athlete. So let me be the first to let you in on a little secret on how I've grown my NIL. Introducing LifeWallet Sports, a revolutionary platform giving athletes complete control over their NIL opportunities, connecting athletes to brands and businesses specific to their followers' likes and interests. And if that's not enough, this platform also helps athletes make connections outside their sports. So let's get connected on LifeWallet Sports. Take it from me. It's a hole-in-one.
Morgan starts that commercial you're thinking, and I'm not thinking about her NIL deal. I'm thinking, when are we going to find out what Tyler Van Dyke is thinking and whether he's going to be back? And, she obviously knows, and I wish that she had told us that, but I guess that was a pre-recorded commercial, so she can't come through with the Tyler Van Dyke breaking news. Is he coming back to the Miami Hurricanes or not? So we'll have to keep waiting for that one. All right. Other stuff on the website today. We continue our roster rebuild series with a closer look at the wide receiver position today. Another real complicated situation there. Who's coming back? Who's not coming back? Who's going to be added to the mix at receiver? But we take a look at that. We also have an update with basketball coach Jim Larinaga as he gets ready to take his team into the Big Ten ACC Challenge tonight at 7:15. We'll have coverage of that game this evening, and these stories that are on the website with Jim Larinaga and with Nigel Pack will get you guys for that. And of course, recruiting news is not just about Collins Achimapong. We also have a story today with a defensive back by the name of Jakeem Jackson. He is a Florida Gators commit, and like Collins, is getting relentless effort from the Miami staff to try to commitment. And Matt, you spoke to Jakeem. Tell us a little bit about your perceptions on what he might do here in the coming days and weeks.
And again, with with Collins, the big story here isn't. It's great that he flipped from Michigan and everything, but the real story is how Miami recruits, because this is something we haven't seen at Miami, and this is what you get excited about, right? Not that they recruited a guy, and his coach flat out told me he doesn't think Collins will play as a freshman, but Like we said, he's a little bit of a project. That's okay. But what you should get excited about if you're a Miami fan is how they are recruiting. Because assuming they identify the right people, they don't care where you're committed to.
Now you're excited? You're excited now. Now you're excited.
Well,
I tried to get you excited about this 10 minutes ago.
I'm not going to get excited about one recruit who's going to be redshirting.
Hey, I don't want to slow you down. So
I don't get excited about, ever since we've seen these 5 stars that don't pan out, I don't get excited about one recruit. I don't care. It just doesn't happen for me. What I get excited about is when you see the big picture coming together, and what fans should be super excited about, and what I'm excited about is the way they're recruiting, because we have not seen this happen at Miami. I don't think ever. I can't remember a coach at Miami ever recruiting guys committed elsewhere personally as a head coach. That has never happened at Miami, where the head coach every single day is reaching out, not having some guy in the back office pretend he's the head coach and, hey, just saying good morning. These are actual conversations that the head coach is having with recruits. Mario loves doing this. Mario doesn't sleep. We've never seen this before. This is why he has a reputation as a great recruiter. So as long as they're identifying the guys that they need, the story with Collins isn't that he flipped from Michigan. The story with Collins is this is what we are going to keep seeing. This is not a one-off. This is not the only time this is going to happen. This is going to be normal. Okay, there's going to be 5 to 10 guys every single recruiting cycle in the next 25 years when Mario Cristobal is head coach here, winning 10 national championships plus, that are flipping to Miami from other schools because he is relentless. Other schools are not. And when another school isn't reaching out like Mario, for instance, Jakeem Jackson, he's hearing from Miami every single day. And he says he's hearing from Florida every single day, but then I didn't put the story, but he qualified it not as much as Miami, And when you're committed somewhere, and another school that you're not committed to is showing you more love than where you're committed to, that speaks volumes to a young student athlete who's very impressionable. It's just work. It's not fun for most coaches to do what Mario Cristobal is doing. Mario Cristobal enjoys it. He sees himself as a teacher, as an advisor, as a guide for young people, whether they go to other places or come here. And that will translate not just in flips, but in the transfer portal and more. So the only concern I have for the future is A, making sure they're evaluating the guys that they want to get and getting those guys. B, development, because we haven't seen that yet for sure. And then C, game day coaching, because that's been a knock on Mario in the past, is that he sort of doesn't, always have it together when it comes to game day coaching, and sort of freaks out and stresses everybody out and is a little too into the minutia and all that stuff. Those are my concerns. Recruiting, getting flips, getting transfer portal guys. I think they identify the right guys. I do think they will be doing that. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. I think the talent at Miami is going to be significantly upgraded every single year. Year after year, we'll be getting better and better and better for the next 3 years. That's what you're excited about. When Gary says to me, why aren't you excited about Collins? Like, I'm not going to get excited every single time they get a commitment. Like, that's not me. That's not me, bro. I'm excited at the big picture, and that's what fans should be hanging their hat on right now. Forget this kid.
What the fans are hanging their hat on, Matt, is this, baby. Okay? This you and these Cane shades, okay? Because they're excited, okay? And, hopefully as the minutes pass and you suck down some more of that ginger juice.
Well, first of all, just so you know, this is my excited face. So I am excited. That was my excited face. I showed it to everybody. There's your proof.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this morning. Oh, what's he got? LaCroix. Oh, geez. God, we should have had his wife spike that thing with that ginger juice. It would have perked them up this morning. But that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. Thank you so much for starting your day out with us. If you like this show, despite Matt Shodell, hit your subscribe button, hit your like button. It helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. And if you're not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, there is no better time than now. These next few weeks, folks, are going to be absolutely insane. And we are going to be on the front lines covering every bit of it for you the best that we can. And hopefully that will be good enough because we won't be able to do any better. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.